Alright guys and girls, it's jerninghgam here. As you can see, I'm wearing my Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt. It'll be Christmas soon, very soon anyway. My hair's gone all over the place again, it's alright though. But anyway, the coronavirus numbers in the UK have gone up to 16,170 people that have caught coronavirus in the UK. I don't know about Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. Other figures of deaths in the UK gone up to 648 people have died today in the UK. Total numbers are 59,699 people. So I'm going to be showing you this now, so you people don't think I'm blagging it or making it up. There we go. So there'll be some people say, no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. There we go. They're the figures for the UK. Like I say, Northern Ireland and Scotland, Wales got their own figures. You can see them all there. It's very sad that a lot of people are still dying of this horrible virus, but we have to keep strong. We have to pull through. That's the best way to be. So that's all I can really say. And the restrictions were lifted yesterday in the UK of lockdown. I think was it? We're in a tier 2 now or something. I don't know. But it's still very sad that people are catching this horrible virus. And let's see what else we're sending. NHS News exclusive. Sir Simon Stevens says Hostel 50. And it's talking about UK bars as well, as you can see here. I thought I'd mention it in here and just show you a little video. There we go. People are drinking in the pubs. I don't know what's being said in the pubs, but I'm going to have a look.
On the border here, this is the Tamar Bridge, which of course is just 300 metres over into Devon.
Devon borders.
Tier 2, and an interesting thing is that many people cross over this bridge to come and have a pint at the Union Inn pub just over here. The interesting thing is this is a wet pub, it doesn't serve food, so they have had to stop allowing their regulars from Devon coming over here because, of course, you can only have a pint if you live in Cornwall. So they've got a poster on the door there saying, we're going to ask you where you're from, and you've got to prove that you have Tier 1 residency. It's just some of the confusion and some of the complications that industries and pubs are going to have to face while we're still in this tier system. Speaking to people right across Cornwall throughout the day,
Cornwall, and it says Tier 1, Cornwall.
Who isn't concerned about people coming over from
Devon and
Tier
stuff.
2 areas to enjoy some of the freedoms here. They are worried that they might bring the virus with them. Remember, Cornwall, 500,000 people in the population, but it only has one major hospital for the whole county, usually only 15 intensive care beds. So they are concerned about people coming and bringing the virus. They want to keep those numbers low. But certainly tonight in Cornwall, on the first day in Tier 1, there is relief that the businesses can hopefully try to recoup some of the cash that's been lost earlier in the year.
Okay, Dan, thanks very much. And Lisa Dowd, as I say, is in Tier 3. Very quiet there in Stratford-upon-Avon behind you. As I say, the strictest measures in place there.
England has entered Tier 3 symptom of local restrictions with 90% of them.
The shops have reopened, and I think there's disbelief and anger from residents and business owners that they find themselves in Tier 3. They understand that in other parts of Warwickshire the COVID rate is far higher than here, and perhaps they have been lumped in with them, if you like, but they're not happy about it. The council is pointing out that of all the Tier 3 areas, Stratford has the lowest COVID rate, and if you look across to a bordering county, Worcestershire, just half an hour away from here is the town of Redditch. They're in Tier 2, and their COVID rates are 3 times higher than Stratford. So the district council are showing their anger by taking legal action against the government.
Salford,
they have written
Avenue
a
Distance
pre-action
Council.
judicial review letter to the
It
Health
says Stafford,
Secretary.
doesn't it?
They're hoping for a response to that by tomorrow evening. They are hoping, I think, that the government changes their mind quickly, because, you know, Stratford is synonymous with tourism. It is, of course, the birthplace of Shakespeare, and in any other year the streets here would be heaving with tourists, but because they're in Tier 3, a lot of the entertainment and hospitality venues can't open. If you're a cafe, restaurant or bar, you can only open if you can provide a takeaway service, and many, you know, it's not worth them doing that. So very quiet on the streets tonight. A lot of them thought they'd be reopening because they were in Tier 1 before the second English lockdown, so it was a big shock to find themselves in Tier 3 today, and their only hope of a reprieve is when the government looks at the tier system again on December the 16th, unless they look at this legal action that the council is taking and change their minds before then.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. And the new revised set of coronavirus restrictions mean that sports fans will be able to return to the stands in tiers 1 and 2, something they haven't been able to do since the start of the year. Ahead of their return, our sports correspondent Martha Kellner has gone to Wycombe Wanderers in tier 2 to get a sense of what this means for the club and fans as they face Stoke City tonight. So Martha, the turnstiles will be turning again, or are already turning again. That's good news.
It certainly is. It's been a long old time, hasn't it? 266 days to be precise since we've had fans back in these numbers. We have had, as you'll remember, Mark, a couple or a few pilot events where fans have been allowed in, but this really does feel like a breaking of the dawn. You can see behind me we've got Linda's Burger Van here in Wycombe, outside Wycombe Wanderers, Adams Park. It's the first time they've been open on a match day evening for 9 months now. They were saying from a personal perspective, it's great to have fans back and buying their products again, but it's also nice to see happy faces here. Just to refresh viewers, in tier 2, apologies, you're allowed up to 2,000 fans in outside stadiums, or 50% of the stadium capacity, whichever of those numbers is lower. And High Wycombe, where Wycombe Wanderers are based, are in tier 2. I'm just their biggest fans.
Absolutely.
Mark, what does this feel like after such a long time to finally be back?
It feels surreal, actually.
No,
it's not like your normal match day experience. You normally turn up and you meet your friends in the bar and have a bit of a social kind of outgoing. It's just great to be back, just to see a game of football.
And you obviously, in the intervening period since you missed the Wycombe Wanderers, or you weren't there in the stadium when they got promoted, first time in a 133-year history, that must have been bittersweet to see that.
It was actually awful, because I was there when we lost at Wembley to Southend on penalties. And so to go to Wembley and play Oxford United and win, to go into the Jet and not be there, it was kind of the worst day of my life, but the best one as well, you know. But yeah.
But this must feel nice. I know not everyone's here, but to see some familiar faces, to be back inside that.
Absolutely. I mean, just to be back, see some familiar faces. I mean, I do feel for the fans that can't get in. You know, I know there are a lot of very disappointed people. But obviously safety comes first, right? But you know, hopefully the vaccine's out and numbers will start to kind of creep up at grounds, and hopefully mid part next year we're back to proper match days and normality.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
The fans have certainly earned their chance to be back here at Wycombe Wanderers. There are in fact only 1,000 fans permitted inside Adams Park this evening. That's because of a mix-up in communications between central government and the local council. They thought that they were obliged to run a pilot event tonight with only 1,000 fans. But we will see up to 2,000 fans in stadiums around the country in tier 2 areas this evening, across the Championship, across League 1 and League 2. The first Premier League club to have fans back inside the stadium on a regular basis will be Arsenal. They host Rapid Vienna in the Europa League tomorrow night, and then we'll have a full programme of Premier League matches over the weekend. But of course, teams in tier 3 still won't be permitted to have any fans inside the stadium. Nevertheless, it's going to be a happy night for the fans who are lucky enough to be inside Wycombe Wanderers Stadium this evening.
That certainly will be. Okay, Martha, thank you very much. Now, as the UK becomes the first country to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine against COVID-19, attention turns to the rest of the world, and with only China and Russia approving any vaccine for use. Today, the European Union's medicines regulator questioned the UK's rapid approval of the Pfizer vaccine. I'm joined now by Dr. David Nabarro of the World Health Organization. He's the special envoy for the global COVID-19 response. Good to see you, David. So will the MHRA, the UK regulator's decision on approving this vaccine, influence others around the world, do you think? Will it be welcomed around the world?
Well, I think that what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of interest in what the UK MHRA has done. Each country has to make its own decision.
The UK becomes
to grant an emergency use authorization, but a lot of people look
talk about the vaccines, yeah,
because there is such a strong history of regulation of medicines.
UK becomes the country of the world's approval
in the
COVID-19
UK.
vaccine use
And so, yeah,
or using.
there will be quite careful scrutiny of this decision, and WHO, of course, will be looking at all the decisions being made around the world by the different agencies.
Right, and do you expect, organisations like the FDA in the United States and others to follow suit pretty soon?
Well, Mark, it would be really wrong for me to prejudge how they're going to look at it. It really is for each country to decide. But I've been impressed by what I've heard from the MHRA personnel, who've been very clear with the public that they've been tracking what's been happening with these vaccines simultaneously with the trials being done. They wanted to be ready to give their judgment, and they've explained their judgment. And this is great. In your commentary, we were hearing that there's still quite a lot of vaccine hesitancy among about 20% of the population. Well, this is right. If people are hesitant, then they need a bit of time to think it through. We mustn't rush and try to force them to reach decisions before they're ready. Instead, we need to recognize that everybody needs to come to terms with what they're going to do about this virus in their own time. Some will be ready, perhaps, to take the vaccine when it's offered. Others will say, I need to wait a bit. I need to think. I need to talk to my friends. Even inside families, there'll be differences of opinion. And we need to be totally respectful of this and be ready when people make their decisions to respond, and not to let anyone feel pressurized into making a decision they're not ready to make.
Yeah, and do you worry that there's a race going on, or it seems as if there may be a race going on? I mean, the EU regulators are saying they may not reach a decision for a while yet, suggesting that more work needed to be done. I mean, there's obviously a Brexit issue here. Should that be a concern, or is that just different regulators, with different methods?
It's the way it is. Different regulators do have different methods, but what this is about is weighing up. Does it work? And how are we getting from that? And is it safe? And the regulators tell us, as they look at the data, that they are evaluating it very carefully. Some want to give it 2 or 3 goes and get different committees involved. Others are prepared to work with one committee. That's just the way in which regulators work around the world. They're very keen to adopt their own protocols and to make sure those protocols don't shift. I think that we can be pretty clear that no regulation agency is going to rush and cut any corners. As we heard from a colleague from the UK just now, they're going to take it really seriously. And I think the public need to be also just listening carefully to what they hear from the regulators, but all the time making their own decisions. This is up to each of us, because it's a personal thing for everyone.
Just in 40 seconds or so, if you could. I mean, the Oxford vaccine, which can be stored more easily, may be the one that, comes next. And that can be distributed around the world more easily.
Yes. Very, very important point. Just very quickly, this vaccine that we're talking about here, the one made by BioNTech and Pfizer, does require really extreme storage conditions. For global use, it would be great if we have something that is actually active even when kept at -20 for a long period and then kept in the fridge when it's ready for implementation. And so we really do hope that one of these kinds of vaccines that's effective will be available soon, soon, soon.
Right, we've been talking over the last 6 months. I've never asked this before. Is normal life in sight again?
I think something that is pretty close to what we all believe to be normal is going to be achievable. I don't like to say when, but I'm looking forward to making plans to do things in the second half of next year, and I hope others are thinking in that direction as well.
Yeah, I hope they are. Okay, David Nabarro, appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you, thank you.
Right, let's have a quick look at the weather.
Anyway, hope you all enjoyed that, guys and girls. Give it a like, give it a comment, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me, and keep safe. Peace.